This is AP Calculus. I am Mr. Sindel. You are you. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. Who's doing something fun for Halloween? What are we dressing up as? Go.
Me?
Yes. You're dressing up as Geo. Got it. Say go.
I'm a foursome of the Incredibles. She's dressing as part of
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, sorry, Princess Peach.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. All right, an arrow.
Arrow.
You're dressing up as Claire? Got it. All right, so example number... Oh yeah, so what is our objective today?
Take the derivative either once or twice and isolate for either y prime or y double prime.
Or y double prime. Oh! All right, here we go. Example number 1.
Oh my gosh, one and
We have a problem very similar to last night's homework, if you did the homework. X squared plus y, or xy is equal to 10, and I need to figure out when x is equal to 2, what is the value of dy dx. We're actually doing some substitution here. All right, go. Take the derivative. Help me.
2x
2x plus
xy prime
xy prime
plus y
equals
equals 0.
0. I'm going to pause here because what we're really doing is we're saying 1 d2 plus 2 d1. Oh, what happened to the d1? Derivative of 1 is just 1. But you should be able to do these kind of fast after doing the homework. I know that I'm still doing them kind of fast. Claire's probably faster than some of us. But you should still know that it is product rule. The main thing, know that you need to use product rule and then actually do product rule correctly. If you're slow, that's okay. We'll get faster and faster. Geo.
Well, we said every time we said it equals to 0.
No, we're setting it equal to 0. Why? Someone else answer that. Why did we say equals 0 over here on the right-hand side?
Because the derivative of a number that doesn't have an x or a y is 0.
Yeah, derivative of a constant is 0. Thank you. All right, so we have the derivative, and because of the nature of this problem, because we're plugging in, plug in ASAP. Plug in as soon as you physically can. We can plug it in right now. After we take the derivative, we can plug in x equals 2 right now. So our new equation is 2 times, well, that x now is a 2. And then we say plus, and there's a 2 again, because that's another x. And then we'll say y prime plus y is equal to 0. So as soon as you can plug in, plug in. It makes your life much simpler. All right, so now I have the equation. Someone read it out for me.
4 plus 2y prime plus y.
2y prime plus y.
I was writing this on the homework and I didn't even notice. I think this is the same as the first problem with the homework.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, oops. Maybe I need to change that. So for this one, I love these types of problems because I always think of it as like cleaning my room when I was little. Like, oh, clean your room by throwing everything to your sister's side. So let's throw everything, y and 4. Let's throw that to the other side and clean up house. So subtract y, subtract 4. Someone tell me what my new equation is.
2y prime equals to negative 4 minus y.
2y prime is equal to negative 4 minus y.
How did you do it?
I subtracted y from both sides, subtract 4 from both sides, and I'm left with 2y prime on the left-hand side, a negative 4, a negative y on the right-hand side.
Subtracted from both sides that they're on the same side.
So it's saying 0 minus y is negative y. 0 minus y minus 4 is negative y minus 4. I can show you work if you'd like. I can go down the line.
I get it.
Okay. And then our final step here is to do what? Shout it out. Say again. Divide both sides by 2, which means I'm dividing each of these terms by 2, or I can say I'm just dividing that whole right-hand side by 2, however you want to say it. I like saying it like this because it's kind of cool. So my y primes, or my 2 is gone in front of the y prime. I have no coefficient. So I have y prime, which is essentially what it's asking for. What is the value of dy dx? It's looking for y prime. And y prime is equal to, well, negative 4 divided by 2, shout it out, is negative 2, and negative y over 2 is just negative y over 2. Final answer, booyah, we're done.
If we just write it as negative 4 minus y over 2.
That is 100% okay. Even in my class, that's still simplified. This is just another way of writing it. I can write out Claire's answer here to the side if you guys want, which is negative 4 minus y all over 2. I don't know why I was about to write it 4 there. Yeah, both of those terms are fine. Those expressions, not terms, rather. All right, so far so good? Whenever you have to plug in ASAP. All right, example number 2, finding the second derivative. This guy's going to be tricky, but not too tricky. Let's go ahead and do it. Take the derivative. Go.
2x plus 4 y prime
So far, so good.
equals 0.
Good job. All right, we took the derivative. Can we plug in anything? Can we make it easier on ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can. Okay, what can we plug in?
D2 whatever.
Well, what is the value of x? X is
0.
0, y is
Y 2.
2. All right, so there we go.
Don't we need to find double prime?
We will find double prime after we find y
Don't we
prime.
need double prime first? Do we? I don't know.
We can find double prime immediately if you guys want. It doesn't really matter the order in which you do it, but I highly recommend isolating y prime before you find y double prime. But for now, I'm going to find exactly what y prime is equal to. You will see why we will need it in a second. So this is going to be 2 times, there's the plugging in, plus 4 times going to plug in there. Y prime is equal to 0. The things that I'm plugging in, the value of x is 0, the value of y is 2. And this simplifies to what?
A y prime equals 0.
8y prime is equal to 0, which means y prime is equal to 0. All right, there it is. That will be helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste with technology. I need to grab a little bit more. All of this line. And we're going to rewrite it down here. We had this equation. We now need to use this equation to find y double prime. What you could do is you could just take the derivative right now. What you could also do is move things around and then take the derivative. It's whatever you think is easiest. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to reshuffle around and then take the derivative, which means it's going to be a little bit easier as long as you know how to do some manipulation? Or do you want to use product rule and some stuff right now and just not have to rearrange it?
Let's rearrange it.
All right. It is the general rule of thumb is to rearrange it. It does make your life slightly easier. So let's get y prime by itself. So what am I going to do?
D1 plus right?
We're going to rearrange it before we take the
Oh.
derivative. So let's get y prime by itself. The first step is to do what to both sides of the equation.
Subtract 2x and 4y.
So I can't subtract the 4y because it's being multiplied. So let's just subtract the 2x for now. So I get 4y, y prime is equal to what?
2x.
Negative 2x, right? Because I subtracted 2x from both sides. And then finally, to get y prime by itself, I need to do the inverse operation of multiply by 4y.
5 by 4.
Yeah, which gives you a quotient rule. I don't know if that is easier or not, but I guess we'll just go along with it. Divide both sides by 4y, and I get y prime is equal to negative 2x divided by 4y, which we can simplify, which is just, oh, I don't know why I wrote a x there instead of y, which can be simplified into negative x over y, 2y, sorry. Are there any questions up to this point? We're working on trying to find the second derivative. We're trying to rearrange it to maybe make it easier on ourselves. Unfortunately, we've got a quotient rule, but it'll still be easier because we'll, I guess there's an argument to be made that we're making it harder, but let's go ahead and take the derivative again. If I take the derivative of the left-hand side, what is the derivative of y prime? What is the derivative of y prime? It's not a trick question. Y double prime. So I now have y double prime is equal to, and then I'm going to look at my right-hand side. I have negative x divided by 2y. I'm using quotient rule. Give me quotient rule. Shout it out.
Low D high minus high D low.
High, D low. There should be a D in there. D low. All over low, low. All right, so what's low?
2.
2y. Good. What's D high?
1.
Careful.
-1.
Negative 1. So we got low, D high. I'm going to now do minus sign, and then high is
X. Negative x.
negative x. Good. And what is D low?
2.
Careful.
2y prime.
2y prime. And then I need to write this all over low, low, which is
2y prime. 2y squared.
2y squared. So you can write this one of two ways. You can say 2y quantity squared, or you can say it's 4y squared. Because you do need to square that coefficient as well. A lot of people will make that mistake of not squaring the coefficient. All right, we basically have the answer. I just need to simplify it. On the AP test, you're done at this point because I don't care if it's simplified. For my class, I make it harder. You need to simplify this. Yes, Gio.
Is it 4 y or just 4? Why? Where you got 4?
Yeah, so let's write it off to the side. So if I have the quantity of 2y quantity squared, that is the same thing as 2 squared y squared, which is the same thing as 4y squared. Yeah, good question. I know that can be confusing, and it is a very common mistake on the self-check, on the pre-test and the test. Let's try to remember that if I have the quantity of 2y squared, it is going to be 4y squared. Yeah, it's good to ask these questions now. That way we don't make those mistakes in the future, or we're less likely to make those mistakes in the future. All right, I need someone to simplify y double prime, and then we are out of here. Y double prime is equal to, because we have nothing on the back, right? Yep, nothing on the back.
Do we plug back in the x and y coordinates?
We do indeed.
Alright, so then it's y double prime is equal to negative 2 times 2 plus 2 times 0 times 0 divided by 4 times 2 squared.
That is all correct, and I need to go slowly so I don't make a mistake. Negative 2 times negative 1 minus, and then x is 0, so minus a negative 0, which is just 0, times 2. And then here's the trick. The reason that we needed to find y prime, I'm going to pause here before I keep talking.
So y prime is going to be
Y prime we found was
It
0.
doesn't matter because it's already.
So we do need to find the value of y prime. Y prime was 2 times 0. And that's all going to be divided by 4 times quantity of 2 squared. And let me move these guys over here to the left. I can move this guy up a little bit. And I can get a final answer. This is all equal to, well, negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive what?
positive 4.
4. And then 0 times 2 times 0 is
0.
0, so 4 minus 0, just leave it 4. And then the bottom, 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so 4 over 16, which reduces to 4. There's the final answer. I guess I can look at my notes from last year. Do we get the right answer? Ooh, we did not get the right answer. Why did we not get the right answer? Last year I said negative 1/4, but we did it a different way last year.
Do you forget to like do the negative in the middle? Is that part of it?
Well, this negative in the middle will mean it's minus 0, which doesn't affect anything.
You added 2 negatives to the 2 times 2 times 1. It should be 2 times 2 times negative 1.
That's what it was. All right. Yeah, thank you, Claire. Log it. Teacher mistake. For some reason, we added a negative there. There should not have been. So we should have gotten a negative 4 over negative 16, which is a negative 1/4. So let me undo our box here so I have more room to write my negative sign, which is a negative 1/4. Cool. Thank you for the catch. And I think that's everything. Let me check this answer up here. Oh, haha. We didn't actually finish example 1, did we?
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah, because we only have the x coordinate.
But if we have the x coordinate, you can find the y coordinate, right? That's my bad. I should have been looking at my notes. So if x is equal to 2, let's plug it into this original equation. Sorry about that. Our original equation was x squared plus xy was equal to 10. And if I plug in 2, that's going to be 2 squared plus 2y is equal to 10. If I subtract 4 from both sides, I get 2y is equal to 6, and therefore y is equal to 3, which means I come down here and I say this is negative 4 minus 3 over 2, which is negative 7 halves. I know I moved kind of fast through that, but I think you guys can follow the work. 2 squared was 4, that's why I subtracted 4 from both sides. Getting y by itself, plugging in this y right here, which means we kind of were too hard on ourselves. We should have been plugging in this y from the very first step right here, on the very first step. I guess technically on the second line when I was substituting everything in. So yeah, be careful. You should be getting a number for almost all of the homework problems, unless it doesn't give you any values, of course. All right, preguntas. Give me a fist 5 on our objective. How well can you take the first derivative and second derivative and isolate? I'm getting a 4 from Geo, 3 from Stego, 4 from Claire, and a 3 from Arrow. All right, we'll see if that can climb to a higher number after the homework. Yeah, thank you.